Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So the scientists have warned us that an asteroid could one day wipe out life on Earth. You know, this is one of the most important topics I think you guys, need to, tune in. And as you come in, please share the video, please like the video, and please subscribe to the channel. You can also become a member if you like to. So I'll wait till some of you guys time in before I get started here. Definitely got a good video for you guys to stay tuned. So as you guys come in, hit the like button. And I just wait till some of you guys time in before I get started here. Welcome to the live, you guys. Welcome to the live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Now, as I get started, scientists warn us that an asteroid could one day wipe out life on Earth. What you guys need to know, what they say, that an asteroid can come from now. You guys don't listen what the news say that an asteroid can approach Earth in 2032, but I want to say any time from now. Scientists warn an asteroid could one day wipe out life on Earth. And I want to say this because the end is near. It could be tomorrow, for all we know. So I want to share this because most of you might not know, if we get an asteroid to approach Earth, yes, it can wipe out life on Earth. It can wipe out human beings, all the vegetation, everything. And what they say, because I'm going to play the video too. What they saying, that California, California is a very hot spot. Very, hot population. And, they saying that if the asteroid was to hit over there, it can cause a catastrophic event, a major tsunami to wipe out lives. So when it comes to the Earth system that is critical to all life on the verge of a total collapse, as you see, as global temperatures is rising because of the human activities, human burning fuel, fossil, and cutting down forests on Earth is getting closer to a critical point that could permanently disrupt its complex systems. So like I said, Los Angeles is a very populated state. And when you see very high quakes will create broken gas and water lines will ensure San Francisco is situated right in the San Andreas fault lines. And the population will be trapped and water will overflow the whole cities, my brothers and sisters. And see, I say California is highly dangerous because the primary or the long terms danger is riding out the strip will be for those who are near the boundary plates. So I recommend if you are near the boundary plates, you might want to relocate. Because if you are near the boundary place of the city without mountains, as they backdrape, you will be washed out from the sea. And that's how serious things will be. So they have that the end is near. They have the scientists is having a prediction that an asteroid could approach Earth one day and wipe out life on Earth. See, you don't have 20 years in the future. You don't have 15. The fall can be within a few days. If the scientist is saying that these things can happen any day now. And see, what can NASA do? What can CERN do? Because they only can do certain things because when you get an asteroid that's to come and approach Earth, and can wipe out the whole life on Earth. Well, guess you guys ain't understanding. Let's roll this video.
And very, very daunting. If a similar asteroid were to strike today, it'd be curtains for us all. So imagine the fury of scientists when the federal government stopped funding SpaceGuard, one of the world's leading programs tracking asteroids. The government says there's nothing to worry about. But scientists warn this leaves us blind to the threat above. Version of an asteroid slamming into Earth. Scientists insist this is pure filmmaker's fantasy. The reality will be far, far worse.
Since the end of the Cold War, there's only one thing left which could cause a global catastrophe, which could wipe us all out or send us back into the Dark Ages. And that's an asteroid hitting the Earth. Great content needs a great audience. Like Stretch Armstrong needs to be stretched. Yeah!
I don't know. Perhaps this is just nature's way of giving us the flick.
Our planet is being stalked. The enemy is any one of the thousands of giant chunks of rock whose passage through space could lead to a collision with Earth.
You know, the reality is that right now, as I sit here speaking to you, I know that there are asteroids bigger than 50 or 60 meters in size, which are closer to the Earth than the Moon. Well, these two telescopes.
Astronomer Duncan Steele has dedicated...
They forget the creator. God is the creator of the heavens and universe. God sends a time that these things will come. He's not sending no more delays, and he's not giving out no extensions. This is the time. This is the hour. This is the judgment. Scientists is already saying and warning us that an asteroid can approach Earth anytime now. So you got to understand, my brothers and sisters, everything is in process. These pledges are continue to boil. The fire in the field is continued to boil. They talk about the super volcano that's going to start back erupting over there in Greeceland. They're getting a lot of gases, a lot of high magma that's going on over there. All these pledges are in process. Fire, you see, erupting. Now you got an outbreak, a severe weather outbreak, because you got the jet stream and they getting these solar, polar vortex, and that they getting a cold front that's coming in. When a cold front comes in, meet with a warm front, and produce these cells, these long track cells, these long duration. You know what I mean? You get a shoreline. Now, from my understanding, the University of Colorado already bringing out 2 enhancement risks. You have day 6 and day 7. But say all this to you with the worst yet to come.
Added his life to hunting asteroids. He says we're seriously ill-prepared for this threat from space.
You never know. It could be tomorrow. It could be right now as we're speaking that in fact one has entered the atmosphere above Sydney. And if a 50 or 60 meter rock enters above Sydney, everywhere's had it.
Asteroids can be as small as pebbles and as big as planets. Their numbers are infinite, and they're hitting Earth all the time. Most burn up in the atmosphere, like this one filmed in the 70s. But the big ones get through. This is Wolf Creek Crater in Western Australia. If I'd been standing here 300,000 years ago, I would have seen what probably looked like a bright shooting star in the eastern sky. We now know it was a small asteroid, travelling at about 15 kilometres per second. It crossed over eastern Australia in 5 minutes. I would not have been alive to witness the final moments of its collision, but even today, the scale of that impact is simply breathtaking.
This crater here was blasted in the Australian outback by the impact of an object about the size of a small office block and flattened everything in an area maybe up to 1,000 square kilometres around. So, one hell of a bang.
Paul Davies is another Australian astrobiologist trying to sound the alarm.
This is just a lottery. These objects don't come on cue. It's totally random, and there are many more smaller ones than big ones. And so explosions of the magnitude that produce this crater here will occur on average perhaps every few hundred years.
Paul Davies believes Australia is lucky that so far asteroids have only hit in the outback. But more are coming. It's not a matter of if, but when.
Definitely when, because it's not going to stop now. This bombardment's been going on throughout geological history, and it's going to continue.
It is true that Australians, on the average, are at greater risk because we tend to live around the coasts. If we live around the coast, you're facing onto big targets. You know, the Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean in particular, is a big target. And a decent asteroid going plonk into the middle of the Pacific is going to cause a tsunami, which is going to take out, in essence, all of the cities along the east coast.
A tsunami rising.
You see? You see what I told you? You see what I told you? All this is boiling up. All these pledges that's coming to America is boiling up. The scientists and meteorologists can tell you that the worst is still yet to come. See, let it not be 20 years in the future, 15 years, because you don't have 20 years, 15 years in the future. The fall can be within a few days. Now, I know you guys probably heard what they've been saying that, yeah, an asteroid can approach Earth 2032. No, my brothers and sisters, this can happen between now to 2032. You don't have long. And thinking that you had long always be the greatest mistake people always made. You see, in the days of Noah and the days of Lot, so would it be in the coming days of the Son of Man. People will make careless errors. Watch when I tell you. You get a tsunami. See, this part of Earth experience, you get a tsunami, people panic. When they tell you to go to the high ground, people are gonna panic. People is gonna panic when these things come. See, this like the Holy Quran says, children will become gravehead. When you see these things happening, the end is near. It's right at the corner. And the scientist is telling us and warning that Astro could one day wipe out life on Earth. We gotta take this very serious.
This is up off the shore over there to several hundred meters. It would come straight across Sydney Heads, crashing through the harbour here, over the top of the harbour bridge. It would take out the whole CBD, and then it would surge on into those suburbs beyond. Millions would perish, no doubt about that.
And if an asteroid actually hit the city?
It would flatten the whole city with the blast wave, and it would send a shockwave into the surrounding countryside and cause damage for tens of kilometres. If it were to explode in the air above the ground, as they often do, the devastation could be even worse.
The most important thing is family. AAA shares the same family values. For over 100 years, AAA has been...
It has happened. 65 million years ago, an asteroid wiped out nearly all life on Earth. The impact and the aftermath left dinosaurs extinct.
When we're talking about a decent-sized asteroid, let's say 1 kilometer across, hitting the Earth, you're talking about energy being released, which is far in excess of all the world's nuclear arsenals put together. And quite clearly, something hitting the Earth, which kills millions, perhaps billions of people, is going to cause a total disintegration of the society which we currently know.
We have liftoff of the Delta rocket carrying the nearest spacecraft bound for the asteroid Eros.
For the past decade, NASA has sent cameras into space to learn more about asteroids. Along with dozens of other countries, America is constantly searching and tracking asteroids. Last year, they even landed on an asteroid called Eros.
Look, man. At one point, the white man was able to subdue the earth. They was able to have these dominions. So they got NASA, they got CERN, right? And like I said, you know what I mean? What God wants to send on this earth, it can wipe off earth within seconds. But you know, like I said, man, you know, these people, man, they don't take the judgment very seriously as they should. How evil, you know what I mean? How evil is a Caucasian race that they want to gather up all the people of America, bring the people into the fall of America. Such sick people, man. Sucks. Sick people. You know, these pledges are just not coming here to America just to be coming here. But it's a sign why we see the time is near. It's a sign God visiting America, and because America, you've been warned. You've been warned too long. I at the end of the day, hey. I ain't gonna have no sympathy what God comes to do, man. Because look, if the Lord hath cut short the time, you see, no human being is going to survive. But now, for the sake of his elect, he has shortened the time. Times is getting shorter, man.
These are the images they saw. But who is watching over the southern skies? Does Australia know what deep space is throwing our way?
We believe there are something like 1,200 asteroids bigger than about 1 kilometer in size on Earth-crossing orbits, potential impactors of the Earth. We found about half of them. Well, the ones which are dangerous to us at the moment are those we haven't seen yet. The people think we've got all these things mapped, and that's the problem. That's what we keep saying. We haven't yet found all these objects. They think that there's these batteries of telescopes scouring the skies, and there just aren't. You know, we always say there's less people working on looking for asteroids worldwide than works in the average McDonald's. That's the way it is.
In 1996, the Howard government withdrew all money for what was known as Space Guard, our part in the global response to the asteroid menace. But since then, despite repeated pleas by the international scientific community, the government has refused to renew the funding, effectively leaving us blind to what might be passing through the southern skies. The Space Guard program, led by Duncan Steele, had identified 30% of known asteroids. Steele now teaches in England, and no one is keeping watch over Australia.
Australia in this area is a pariah. It's regarded as being a total outcast. It is the only country ever to have closed down a successful asteroid program when all the other countries are gearing up.
I'm not going to be spooked or panicked into spending scarce research dollars on a fruitless attempt to predict the next asteroid.
Peter McGorran is the Minister for Science. He axed the Space Guard program, taking Australia out of astronomy's version of Neighbourhood Watch.
We spend about $18 million a year on astronomy, and that's a significant investment by Australia, particularly by worldwide standards. I wouldn't like to divert up to 5% or more of that budget towards a fruitless, unnecessary, self-indulgent exercise.
Self-indulgent because scientists like Duncan Steele think it should be done?
How many others agree with them? I know they've gathered together a number of scientific generalists. I want the astronomers themselves under the supervision of an objective world.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna stop it there, man. I mean, Australia is one that's hot zone for asteroid sight, man. So if it was to hit over there, yeah, it's gonna cause a whole catastrophic devastation, tsunami. So should people, you know what I mean, be worried? Yeah, the people in Australia, people should be worried because if an asteroid was to hit, you know what I mean, over there in Australia, because that's being one of, you know what I mean, favorite spotting from asteroids. So if it was to hit, it can cause a major tsunami, and all from Australia and all from the Pacific. And you know, I mean, from Australia, it would cause the East Coast, you know, catastrophic. So, like I said, you guys, I'm gonna be probably with part 2. I'm gonna be back with. So, you know what I mean. Like I said, fasten your seatbelt, man. Like it's part of Earth experience, man. I'm not trying to use no figmonger things like that on you guys, but yeah, like I said, man, these things is happening. These things, it's gonna happen, man. So be ready. Practice the 3 Ps. Prepare. You know, practice and persevere. I'm out.